طيب. Fine. Today, inshallah, we'll start with our session number 4, meeting 4. We are in week 4. We have week 4, meeting 4. Okay. Then sign. Can you pull up online? الشاشة واضحة عندكم؟ عليكم السلام. الحمد لله. هلا.
متى خطة مش عليها بس متى فاضي عندك؟
صباح بعد الظهر. بعد الظهر من 12 إلى 1 ونص تقريبا.
من 12 إلى 1 ونص.
موجود عندنا.
أي يوم يعني؟
أي يوم.
شكرا.
الله يعافيك.
السلام
عليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. Okay. Today, inshallah, we will start with meeting number 4, thinking in object and array list class. First, we talk about thinking in objects. We have studied last meeting about creating objects, right? Writing classes, creating objects, how we create objects, right? So, we'll look more into objects, like passing objects to the methods or functions. Like whenever we write a method or a function, we pass some argument to it that takes as a data to process it. But when you talk about passing objects, that is the reference type. Okay. So today, inshallah, we'll talk about objects more, and then we'll move to this array list class. Array list is a class in Java which acts like array. You studied array, right? What is an array? A list of items or a list of elements. It can be string array, it can be integer array, right? A set of items, similar type, with same name, is an array. Array list is more similar to that, but we have some differences. In array, you have size is fixed, right? In an array, if you declare array of 10, you can 10 elements. Yeah, you cannot add 11 to 12 elements. But in array list, it is dynamic. Dynamic, it means it is sizable, resizable. If you create array list of 10 and you want 100 elements, you can add it. Automatically it will be added. Automatically the space will be added. Even if you just create an array list object without giving the size. Okay. So then you can add how many number of objects you add. Fine. And still more differences you have in array list and arrays. We will see that. How to write an array list. And array list is important in our programs to have a set of elements. Instead of taking array, it's better to have array list because it is dynamic in size and there are many more features. Okay. So we talk about that array list also. We have other things also to discuss today. The first thing what we discuss is passing objects to methods. That's what I told you. This is what we are looking today with regards to the objects. Okay, using this keyword. If you remember last Thursday, in the lab, we used this keyword, right, to represent a particular object. Okay. So we see that this keyword again here, method overloading, and two methods having same name, but different arguments. This already studied in M105, method overloading. Remember? Rahman. Method overloading. Inshallah. We also talk about now array of objects, and then encapsulation, class abstraction, array list. Then we talk about the stack, queue, data structure. How many of you completed 180 مادة 180 خلصنا؟ خلاص. إذا stack and queue new topic شيء جديد. إن شاء الله. We'll talk about stack and queue. What is a stack, what is queue, and how to write a program for a stack and a queue, data structures. So these are the objectives of today's meeting. We start with the objects as we are continuing. Passing objects to methods, pass by value for primitive type values and pass by reference for reference type values, that is for the objects. So there are two things, pass by value and pass by reference. I think you remember this. Pass by value and pass by reference. Pass by value is you are passing a value to the method, copy of the value. Yeah, the reference. Yeah, it is with the reference will be you are passing the original value. Any changes to the value will affect it. For example, if you take this program is to create circle object with a radius 1. With the radius 1. We did circle class, right? Thursday. Okay, with the radius 1. Where we did here? In this class or which class we did? You know? Right. So we write this method print areas of circle and times. Now here circle, this is an object. We are passing an object. Right? And int times, this is a variable. This is a variable, not an object. Okay, a variable. So when we pass an object, it is passed by reference. So when we create an object of circle C1 is an object, okay, that is pointing to some memory where there is a radius, like 1. It has a reference to some memory where the radius is 1. Now after this, we are creating an int value, int n. N is now directly pointing to the value 5. Okay. So C1 radius 1, this is our radius 1, and n value 5. Now we call that system the print areas, this method with C1, with the C1 object here and the variable 5 here. So a copy is given for times. So times is having 5. Okay. Times 5 is having 5. Now here circle C, what we take the object here. Circle A. This one A. A and C1. C1 and A both are referring to the same object. These are referring to the same object where there is radius is 1. Where the radius is 1. But we take N and T times, they are different. Because when you call this by value, that is the primitive data type like int, double, char, it will give a copy of this nuskha إلى times. ولكن الريفرنس ليس copy ليس نسخة. It will be referring to the same memory where there is a value of the radius. So if I change by A, this will be changed. This is changed for both C1 and A. This is what we call pass by reference. But if I change T here, it will not affect N. Okay. So when I call this, it says radius and area, well times is greater than or equal to 1. A dot get radius, A dot get area, get radius plus 1, set radius. And we are setting the radius to plus 1. So we change the radius to 2 here. Times minus minus. Times was 5, 5 minus minus 4. Now the times value is 4, but n value is 5. Whereas C1 radius 2 and A radius is also 2. So when you change the radius here 2, this is for both C1 and A. When you change the times, this is only for times. Only for times, only for this. So this is the difference between pass by value and pass by reference. Okay. So sometimes you may get this program, in multiple choice, not in multiple choice, in part 2, in exam, finding outputs. Okay. Fine, that is about جافل في 105. طيب ايوه كويس. Then next is the keyword this. We used this keyword in our last program. يوم الخميس. This keyword is the name of the reference that refers to an object itself. The same object. One common use of this keyword to reference a class hidden data. Using a class hidden data. Another common use of this keyword to enable constructor to invoke another constructor in the same class. And to call constructor inside another constructor, we can use this keyword. Okay. Constructor, we have constructor in the class, right? Khamis and Thursday شفنا الconstructors. لكن في default constructor وفي argument constructor. So if you want to call the argument constructor inside the default constructor with the default value, you can use this keyword. Okay. Let me check if I have that circle class. Static int count, get radius, set radius, get area. Type good. We have this. Click out this. Type this keyword, we can use this here to represent the current object. This dot radius. The current object radius. So this will be referring to this, and the end radius will be this. Similarly, here also we can use this keyword. Refer to the current object. Okay. Here also we can use this keyword. Here also we can use the current object this dot radius multiply by this dot radius. Method here. Similarly, and then there are two constructors. Constructor, a default constructor without any value. So we can set the value here. This dot radius is equal to 1.0. Default value. Otherwise, we have argument constructor here. This is argument constructor, right? So whatever value we give here will be set to radius. Fine. So if you see here, whenever we create an object here, circle C1 is equal to new circle default argument. So what happens here? It will go to the argument, default constructor, it will go to this default constructor and set the radius to 1.0. So we write this dot radius is equal to 1.0. So hence we have the C1 radius 1.0. So if you want to print this, system dot out dot println C1 dot get radius. C1 dot get radius. So what it will print you? Get radius.
1.0.
Get radius will give you what? Radius. Return radius. So what it will print you? 1.0.
Okay.
So it will print you 1.0. That is the radius, right? Okay. If you want the area, let me put it here. System.out.println radius area. C1 dot get area. So area will be the pi value, right? So this is the radius and this is the area. Okay. It is a tab space. Space, we give you space, tab space. Okay. Now this is by calling the default constructor. So if you want to create an object by using this argument constructor, you need to pass the value here. For example, let's say like 2 point, or let's say it is 2. So now C1 will call this and set the radius to 2. Okay. So if you run this one, at this point the radius is 2 and the area is this 12 point something. Okay. Now by using this keyword, instead of writing this, okay, by using this keyword you just say this or what is the default value you want, 1.0, you can set like this. This of 1. Instead of writing this dot radius is equal to 1.0, you can mention just this of 1.0. So what will happen, this you can see here, what it is highlighting. If I click this, it is highlighting this one, circle with argument. So this here, it means the constructor. Okay. When you call with the value, it will go to the argument constructor and set the value 1.0 and set the radius 1.0. And if I call it by like this too, okay, it will directly go to the argument constructor. Set it to here. But if I call it without to, what will happen? It will go to the default constructor and it will call this of 1.0, will call this constructor, set 1.0 here.
Will it count twice?
Now if I write it here again, it will be counted twice.
Yes.
Yeah, in this case we need to take out this count. If I write it twice here, it will be counted twice. In this case we need to take out. But the main thing here is this keyword. This keyword can be used to call the constructor. This of 1.0, it means it will call this constructor with the value 1.0. Okay, this is another use of this keyword. Fine. So if you run this one, it will set 1.0 and the area is 3.1415. Okay. Is it clear, the use of this keyword? Students online. Any question on this keyword? Students online. Any question on this keyword?
So it would like other function, then go after the next one, right? Then
Yeah.
we go next one.
Yes. So here it is demonstrated using this keyword. Okay, you can use this keyword to refer to the current object variables, and you can also use this in the circle. So you call this circle 1.0. Okay, in this case, fine. This will call the this one, the argument constructor. Fine. You can see in this example also. There are three integers here. So we are writing three int constructors, one with default, one with one argument, one with two arguments, one with three arguments. So using this keyword here in the above three, this of 0, 0, 0 will call this three argument with A0, B0, C0. Okay, setting PQR value as 0. This of A, 0, 0. A, you have the A value. So this will call this three constructor with A value, and B, C are 0, 0. And two arguments here, A, B value. So you have A, B, 0 is the third value. So this will call again this constructor, this. Fine. So this is how it is, this keyword can be used in our classes. Okay, it is always good to use this keyword. The next is here we have array of objects. Array of objects, creating a set of objects using arrays. So we can create a set of objects using arrays, no doubt in it. Like we create a string, array of strings. The string is also a class. A string is also a class, so hence we can also create array of circle also in our class. So as you see on the screen, we have this one object. If you want to create an array of object, so we create circle array of name of the circle. For example, CL is equal to new circle of how many elements you want. Let's say 5 circles. So now CL is an array of objects with 5 circles. But this is only a declared one. You cannot say, like, for example, CL dot get radius. This is wrong.
You need to call the index.
Yeah, we need to call for. Okay, let's say even by using the index, CL dot get radius will not get you the radius because still the CL is not defined. CL is only declared. CL of 0, CL of 1, CL of 2. So if I say, for example, in this place, CL1, CL of 0 dot get radius and CL of 0 dot get area. Fine. So you see an exception here. Yeah, null pointer exception, because CL of 0 is still null. It's pointing to null. It's not defined still. It's not defined still. So what we have to do is we need to define, for example, CL of 0 is equal to new circle of the radius, for example, default radius. Now at this point you can get it. So as default, you can get the CL of 0 at this point. At this point, CL of 0 is 1.0, it's a radius and area. Similarly, we need to go for CL of 1 is equal to new circle of let's say, for example, 2.0. Okay, like this CL of 0, CL of 1, CL of 2, CL of 3, or you can put here, sorry, Sir Damesh. جنبات لا ما أقدر إلا باللوب. int I is equal to 0, I less than cl dot length I plus plus, and now you set it cl of I is equal to new circle. So with the default arguments. So cl of 0 default, cl of 1 default, 2 default, 3 default, 4 default. So cl of 0 you have the default, cl of 1 also you have the default, and all. For example, you can use the same loop, again to print it. For example, cl of I, cl of I. So all this radius in the circles, for example, for all 5. So from here. But if you want to change, you need to set it. But if you want to change here, like what value you want to set here, so okay, you can set it. Let's say for example I, if you mention I. So it will be 0, 1, 2, 3, radius with 0, radius with 1, radius 2, radius 3, radius 4. Okay. So in this case, it will be like this. Radius with 0.0, area 0, 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, 4.0. I value, depend on I value. Okay. Or if you want to keep it from 1 to 3, you can say I plus 1. So that will be from 1 to 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. عدد معين خارج اللوب 1 by 1. يعني مثلا الجنبات لازم باستخدام النيو لكل اوبريتور، لكل الاوبجكت باستخدام كل واحد يستخدم النيو. مثلا CL of 0 is equal to new circle of 1.0 بعدين لحال كل واحد لازم يكون لحال زي كده باستخدام الاي.
ايه بس ما ابغاها بالتاكيد اول 5
ما يقدر الا انت كل واحد لحال. Okay. Fine. So with this we can also set the radius. يعني خارج ممكن نغير الراديوس كمان هنا مثلا CL of 0 dot set radius نغير إلى 2.5. Okay. فال CL of 0 على أول واحد 2.5 والباقي 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So you can set it by using set. This is 2.5 على أول واحد والثاني يستمر مع ال I value. Okay, I plus 1. It is something like this. When you create a circle, so a circle array objects is created with null reference. Once you create by is equal to new, then you get this reference. Okay. Class abstraction and encapsulation. See, till now what we write a separate class and main method separate. This is what we call class abstraction and encapsulation. So if you see here, circle class لحال, we have separate circle class where we have private data and public methods, constructor, okay, and we have the main method separate where we create objects, we use the class. Okay, so this is what we call class abstraction. Here we say that we write a class, okay, but we provide some description of the class, like what is the name of the class, what are the methods inside the class, you can access what are the constants in the class, and the user as a client just use those by creating objects. Okay, مثلا I write this circle class. Right? After writing this circle class, I'll give you that this is my class called circle. In this class, I have the methods called get radius, set radius, and get area. Okay. You can also print how many objects are created by count. count variable, static variable count, to check how many objects are created. Okay, so I give this description to you. Now you don't know that how it is implemented. I'll class circle, how it is implemented, what is the code inside it, what are the constructor inside it. You don't know about it, and you don't need to know about it. You just use the class name, create object of it, use the methods. So I'm giving you the description of the class. This is my class and you can use this class. So this is what we call the class abstraction here. That the class abstraction means a separate class implementation from the use of the class. The creator of the class provide a description of the class and let the user know how the class can be used. And you just give the description how I can use the class without giving the implementation details. So in this one you can hide the implementation details, you can hide your code, okay, and just use the class. The user of the class does not need to know how class is implemented. The details of implementation is encapsulated and hidden from the user. مثلا math class, in the Java math class. So do you know how it is implemented? Math.max, math.power, math.py. You don't know, and you don't want to know about it, like how it is implemented, what is going inside. Just use it. You are using a string class, right? String, to create a string object, to do all string operations. Okay, but you don't know that what is going inside the string class. String is a class, math is a class, but you don't know what is going inside it. Okay, so that's what we call class abstraction and encapsulation. Object-oriented thinking, you studied before the fundamental programming techniques of the object. For solving the problems, that is using loop, methods and arrays, that's what we studied in M105. The studies of these techniques lay out the solid foundation for object-oriented programming. All the previous code was written in the main method, so you could not reuse it. Now classes provide more flexibility and modularity for building reusable softwares. Reusability here, it means by writing classes, you can reuse the classes. And once I write the circle class, okay, and what we need inside the circle class, what the circle has. Circle has radius, circle can have the get area, get radius, okay, set radius. Okay, what you need inside the circle, complete. So once you write this class circle, you can use this circle anywhere, anytime, provided it is public, right? زي الماث class تستخدم math class في أي برنامج. فمكتوب مرة واحدة, it's written only once, but it is reused many times. This software reusability, what we call it. Similarly here, with the classes, by writing the classes, with the help of the classes, we come to reusability, and we achieve reusability by writing the classes. So once you write a class, then you can reuse it anywhere you want, in any program. Okay. Defining classes and creating objects. First you need to write the class. For example, if you take this UML diagram of class TV. TV has three variables, that is channel of type integer, volume level of type integer, boolean on. This indicates on or off. Volume level from 1 to 7 and channel from 1 to 20. This is the variables of the class. And then you have the constructors, TV constructor, you have turn on the TV. So where boolean on will set to true. Turn off the TV, where boolean on is equal to false. Set channel, if you want to set any particular channel, channel number 2, channel number 3, channel number 4. Set volume, if you want to set the value, 2, 3, 1. Channel up, plus 1 to the channel. Channel down, minus 1 to the volume up, plus 1 to the volume. Volume down, minus 1 to the volume. Okay. Now this is a class, this is a description of the class. And what is given here is all description of the class. You see, the default constructor, turn on the TV, turn off the TV, set new channel, set new volume, increase channel, decrease channel, increase volume, decrease volume. This is all description, okay? So you write this class and give this description to anyone to use your class. This is my class and this is the description, but how it is implemented, no need to worry about it. Fine. So first you need to implement this so that this can be reused. So we set, for example, here all the variables. We set all the variables here. Then we write the constructor here, default constructor. Then we write public void turn on is equal to true, turn off on is equal to false, set channel, increment the channel. So if the new channel is between 1 and 120, you can set that as a channel. Provided it is on should be true and the channel should be between 1 and 120, greater than or equal to 1 and less than or equal to 120. Channel is equal to new channel. Channel up, if it is on and channel is less than 120, you can increment it. If it is not less than 120, you cannot increment it, right? So it is the condition what is checked here. Similarly, set volume, you can check the volume also. TV should be on should be true, and volume should be between 1 and 7, in a greater than or equal to 1 and less than or equal to 7. You can set the volume. Similarly, channel down, also you need to check, should not be less than or should be greater than 1 to reduce it. Similarly, volume up, volume down. So this is all the implementation of the class. Implementation of the TV class. Once it is implemented, we can use this software, this piece of software to implement in any TV. Any TV, what you see the TVs, okay, the remote control, how it is working because of this program. Working on this program. So when you press when you press the on button, so this function set on, turn on will be called and set the on to true, and you see the TV is on. And then when you press channel number 21, so set channel will be called with the value 21, and it will set the channel 21 on the screen. Similarly, when you say the channel up, so it will increment the channel, it will make it to 22. So all the buttons you have in your remote control is programmed like this. The TV remote, I think you all have this experience of using this TV remote. So all the program is written something like this. Okay. So once it is written, now user can use it simply by creating object of this class and using it. Okay. So this is the main method where we create an object of TV. And we call these methods turn on, turn off, volume up, volume down, channel, set channel and all. Okay. So this is what we call the reusability of the code, reusability of the software. Fine. So in programming, reusability is very important. Reusability of the code is very important in programming because we don't want that every time we repeat the same code. If something common and similar, you write it once and reuse it. Okay. So with the help of classes and objects, we have the reusability in object-oriented programming in Java. Okay. In other object-oriented programming also, we can have something like this. Reusability.
Is there something like in Python where if you make like a function, you can put the first line in 3 quotes, and basically you can write the name of the function with help and give you the information.
I think there is a help in the Python that, but if you want to introduce your codes in Python, you can introduce because it is an open source. Fine, you can introduce your libraries into the Python and you can add that. We have that facility because it is open source. But in case of Java, Java is not open source. So what we write in programs here, we need to document it And whenever we want to submit this to some other party, we need to submit the documentation along with the package, along with the software, along with the library. So it's not open source. So that's the benefit of open source, is that you can add your own libraries to the packages, to the to the programming languages, and if it is approved, can be used by anyone. Okay. Fine. So that's about the reusability of the code and the classes. The next part here, which is very important part, is array list classes. So we talk about here the array list classes. We talk about here about the array list classes. So we'll see what is an array list, how to create an array list, okay, how we use this array list in our classes. Fine. We'll take a short break here, 5 minutes, a short break inshallah, and then we'll continue after 5 minutes. Fine. Okay. Now we'll talk about array list. So as you can create an array to store objects, but the array size is fixed. So once you create an array with a fixed size, you cannot have elements more than that. So Java provides array list class that you can be used to store an unlimited number of objects. Any number of objects you can store by using array list. Array list is an indexable, ordered collection of variable size that permits duplicate elements. So it is like array. Okay. Indexable, it means like array has index 0, 1, 2, 3. Similarly, we have the ordered list with the index, the array list also. Ordered collection means each element in the collection has a well-defined place as indicated by index number. It can also allow duplicate elements. Okay. If you are creating an array list of what you call circles, fine. So you can have two circles with the same radius, duplicate elements, fine. So you can have duplicate elements in the array list. Even if you create array list of integers, like array of integers, fine. You can have duplicate elements in the array. Here also you can have duplicate elements in the array list. Array list versus array. Objects of the generic class array list are similar to arrays but have some differences. Similarities are both can store a number of references, that is elements. Both can store integers, both can store references, objects. The data can be accessed via index in both array and array list. Elements duplication is allowed. You can have a duplicate elements in the array. But there are differences. So what are the differences? Array list has no fixed size. Array has a fixed size, right? When you create array of 5 elements, it is 5 MB. Like what we did here, we create array list CL with size 5. So you can have, if I am looking for something CL of 5 dot set radius of 2.5. Now this CL of 5 is no more exist, and if I try to print this CL of 5, okay, CL of 5 get radius, CL of 5 get area, fine. So you can see that there is an array index out of bound exception. Array index out of bound exception. This is because 5, there is no fifth element in the array list, right? So that's the reason here. There is no fifth element, right? So array list has no fixed size. You can extend the array list as needed automatically by adding elements. So if you want to add the more elements, you just add it. Okay, the extension is done automatically inside the system. Array list object require more space from Java runtime system. If necessary, they request the JVM to have. The array list is not ideal in its use of the memory. Here, not ideal in its use of memory. It means the memory is not fixed here for array list. And sometimes the array list is using only few size of memory, but it is occupied more than that. Okay, you create an array list. So let's say that it takes 10 objects memory, but it has only 5 objects. So it has taken 10 objects memory because it is dynamic, every time it is extended. So taking memory from the system is system dependent, not on programmer. So if you add 5 objects, remaining 5 is blank. Okay, so it's not ideal in its use of memory. As soon as an array list requires more space than its current capacity, the system will allocate more memory space for it. The extension is more than required for the items to be added. If you are adding only one item, okay, it may add 5 items memory, so that there will be often empty locations with the array list. So that is, the size is often less than the capacity. So two things we have: capacity and the size. Capacity, for example, the size. First, size is current number of items stored in the array list. And how many items, how many objects you have in the array list. That is the size. Whereas capacity is the maximum number of the objects you can store. So size can be 5, but capacity can be 10. Capacity is maximum number of elements or objects you can store in that array list, that is 10. But size is how many objects is currently you store. You store only 5 objects, so size is 5. Okay, but capacity is 10. So that's the difference between capacity and size. You may get this question in your exam, it might be in multiple choice question. Okay, difference between size and the capacity of an array list, or what is the capacity of the array list, or what is the size of the array list. Okay. So two things you have: capacity and so Java array list, it comes from the util package. It has the following methods. It has a constructor, creates an empty list, add object. This adds an object to the array list. Say add object to the array list.
We need to involve the package.
Yes. It's from the util package. Okay. So if you look into here, let's take out all this. So first we need an array list. Import java.util.array list of E. So now we create an array list. Array list of circle CL is equal to new array list of circle default, and this is default constructor. We are calling the default one. Okay. Now what is this? And even when you import this, you say this import java.util.array list. See, what is this E stands for here? You see this brackets and this E. What does it mean? Any idea? So E here, it means that this array list, is of type generic. Generic, it means general. Array list هذا ممكن يكون array list of circles, ممكن يكون array list of integers, can be array list of strings, it can be array list of any object. Okay.
Can have mix or
No, not mixed.
just
One object, array list of integer. Well, E here, it means array list of E. What you see dot array list of E here. E here, it means generic. So that's why you see here, when I create array list, I put in this bracket circle. It means this array list of circle. You cannot only circle object. If I create array list of integers, مثلا array list of integer IL is equal to new array list of integer. Now this is array list of integers. So like this here you can put what type of list you want. Okay. So in general we type it like E, capital E. That means a generic. It is a generic class. It is a generic class. So now here array list of circles. Fine. So now we got this array list of circle. We create this like this circle, array list of circle. We can add the elements by calling this add object. Add the object. Fine. So you need to create a circle object and add it to the array list. Add it to this array list. So I create the circle object. Circle C1 is equal to new circle of 2.0. Now this is my circle object. Now add to this array list CL dot add of C1. So C1 is added to the array list. Circle 1 is added to the array list. Another short form is CL dot add of new circle of 3.0. Okay, so another new object of it will add it. So this will create an object and add it to the CL. Add it to the array list. And writing these two lines and writing this one line, both are same. So here we create first object and add that object to the array list. Here I directly create it here inside this and add it to the array list. So it can be like, for example, 2.0 is another object. So you see that, for example, CL, let it be 3.0. Okay, and it says system dot out dot println of radius area system dot out dot print f percentage point to f. This is radius slash this slash t percentage point to f. This is area, comma CL of 0 dot is it CL dot get, yeah, CL dot get of 0 dot get radius, comma CL dot get of 1 dot, sorry, get of 0 dot get area. So CL get of 0 and a first element. Okay. So get area, get radius for the first element. So you see radius 2.0, area. Similarly for the second element, if you want the second object, which is we created this one with 3.0, right? So with 3.0, I change it to the second element is index is 1. Fine. So here you see that is, we need to use a slash n here, sorry. New line. So you see the second object is added here by this method. So you can use either method to add the objects. So we have this add. We can also add the index at the particular index. And you want to add the object to the first position, second position, fourth position. Okay, at the particular index. Clear will remove all the elements from the list. This clear method delete all the elements, all the objects, contains an object, will check whether there is an element in the list or not. Okay. get index, get an object, that's what we use here, get of 0 in a first index, get of 1 second, okay. Index of an object, it returns what is the index of an object. Similarly, we have is empty to check whether the list is empty or not. This will return true if the list is empty, otherwise false. Last index of any particular object. Remove the object. If you want to remove any object from the list, you can remove. Size of the object, returns the size. Remove the index, remove a particular object from the index. Set the index, change the index of at a specified index. Okay. These are some methods related to the array list. Fine. Generic type, as I told, array list is a generic type. That's why you see here an E over here. This means that it is a generic type. You can put any concrete type inside it. For example, you can create array list of a string. Here, in place of string, you can place array list of integers, array list of double, whatever you want. Okay. So object type you need to specify, and you can either specify it, default, or you can set the capacity here. So for example, what we did in our program, we leave it default, and array list circles here is equal to new array list of circle, default. But if we want to set, for example, array list of 8, so 8 here, it means you create an array list with the size 8. Okay. This will be considered as capacity and size both. But when you add the element, the current number of elements is the size, and the remaining total is capacity. Not remaining, but the total is capacity.
If we have it like finish number 9, it will extend.
It will extend automatically. And if you are adding, for example, I set it as 1. So it is only 1, right? So first I add it like this, C1. So this is the end. So I want to add the second one also. This will be added. Now at this point of adding, it will extend. Mumkin 5 ziyada, 5 more, 6 more. That becomes a capacity, more capacity. Okay. So this still works. If you add. Fine. So 2 ways we can create the array list here. You can also have the array list of double with 100. So this 100 capacity, that you add the elements, that becomes the size. Okay. Now here is an exercise. Create a list to store cities called city list. Add the following cities. Print out the list contents. Print the size. Print out if Miami is in the city. Print out the location of the anywhere. That is the index of the anywhere. Add another city, Paris, in the location 4. Remove the first occurrence of Paris. That is using remove. That's all what you need to call the methods. Right? So array list, creating an array list of a string called cities, city list. Array list of a string, city list is equal to new array list of, then city list dot add London, add Geneva, add Paris, add Miami, add Seoul, add Tokyo. These are all, we are adding the string objects. Because we are creating what a string, array list of a string, right? Okay, here you need to write the string. Array list of strings. So you add the string objects. Okay. If you want to print the list, simply print it. In this way. So this will just print the list. So create array list of string city list is equal to new array list of string, whatever the size you want.
Okay, when we leave it empty, what's the default?
Default is system dependent. Yeah. No specific. It depends on the system. JVM will decide it. Okay, we cannot say that exactly how much capacity. We cannot say that. Okay. موجود فين؟ سوي نسخة. Okay, good. Citylist dot add of whatever you want to add. Okay, citylist dot add of citylist dot add of citylist dot add of. See how many cities we added? 4 cities. Okay, without specifying anything. Even if you specify here 4 cities, it will automatically add it. So no need to worry about the size and the capacity. Fine. To print the list, system dot out dot. There are 3 ways you can print the list. One is you directly print the list. Println of city list. Say the list. The other way is you can use the for loop. For loop, or there is another loop called for each loop. For each loop, you can use that for each loop also. Okay. Then list the size. System dot out dot println. What is the size here? City list dot size. Size is 4. So you should print 4. Okay. System dot out dot println. What is the next? Says is Miami is in the list. So we can use this contains method to check whether a particular city is in the list or not. Okay. So we can check, for example, this returns true or false. So if I say city list dot contains, what list you want to check? For example, Miami. Yeah. So it will return what? It returns false because it is not there. Okay. So if I write Paris, this returns true because there is a Paris in there. So this is what is all you need to remember those methods and use those methods. Fine. So you can 3 ways there are print array list. First is just to print directly the array list, what you see here, what I am printing here, you get this. Okay. The other is by using the loop where you go through all the loop and use the get of I method. Sorry? You did not get it. بدل ما اجيب كده in the brackets يبقى 1 لحال. You can use this one. Point I is equal to 0, I less than the city list dot size I plus plus. System dot out dot println city list dot get of I. So you see now how this will be printed line by line. slash n فين؟ لا ما يجي، هذا الليست مرة واحدة يتبع. يعني قصدك استخدم السيستم دوت out دوت println city list بعدين slash n. هو تبع واحد يعني city list مرة واحدة slash n هذا شو. بس لو احتاج يعني كلمة بكلمة يعني أو object by object. If you want to use object by object, you have to use this. For loop. There is another for loop for each loop, which is more easy. For each A1. This is just for a string X of city list, print X. This is called for each loop. Okay, so we write for a string X of city list. System.out.println of X. So X will take city one by one, from the beginning to the last. So without using I and condition and everything directly. This is called for each loop.
There is no function for each loop in Java.
No. So 3 ways you can display. So is it clear? Array list واضح؟ الارray list واضح؟ طلاب online. Array list is clear to you? Okay, why we use get in the for loop? There is a question why we use this get. See, get is a method from which you can get the array, the object from the list. You have to use get. You cannot directly specify the index. This is one of the method of the array list to get the object at a particular index. So we have to use get here. Without get, you cannot get that object. That's why you see here get of index. Get of index. Array list dot get of index. Clear? So here is another exercise. Create a list of 2 circles. Add 2 circles. Display the area of the first circle. With the list. So 2 circles. This is how we create a list of circles. Adding new circles. And cl.get of 0.get radius. Get of 0, the first object. The first circle. Get radius. And get of 0.get area. So this table shows the similarities and differences between the array list and the array. For example, if you are creating an array of strings, this is how you create and the size is fixed. But when you are creating an array list of strings, this is how you create and the size is not fixed. If you want to access an element, you use the index directly, but here you use get of index. If you want to change the element, you use the index directly and change the element. But you have to use set index, the new element. If you want the size, length, here you want the size function. Adding new elements is by this one in array, but here we have add. Adding particular index in the array, we can change it by using the same method. But here we have index, then removing an element. In array we don't have. Okay, remove a particular object, clear. In array we don't have clear. So in list we have a clear. Clear will clear all the elements from the list. Creating array list from array or from creating an array from the list. We can do both. And if you want to create an array list from the existing array, let's say that you have an array, existing array, you want to convert that array into array list. يعني تحويل من array إلى array list. Okay. فنقدر باستخدام الفانكشن as list of arrays. Arrays dot as list. هذا الفانكشن as list will convert the array into the list, into array list. مثلا هنا عندنا الارray red, green, blue, 3 elements of type string. You have it. If you want to convert this array into array list, called list. Okay. So you create a list, array list is string, list is equal to new array list, or here you write it. Arrays dot as list of array. So this will convert this array into the array list by name list. Okay. Similarly, if you want to convert an integer array, you want to convert a circle array, whatever the array you want to convert, you can convert here by this function as list of the class arrays. Clear? But if you want to convert a list into the array, you can also convert in like a list, array list.
Group and use the same size.
Yeah, we can use the same, and we can also use this toArray method directly. يعني هذا تحويل من array list إلى array. الأول as list, this is from array to array list. To array, this is from list, array list to array. Collection utility classes. We have a collection class in Java. This collection class are used by collection classes. What are the collection classes? Any class that takes a set of values, like array list. Array list class, right? It takes a set of values, right? Like this, we have other classes, like we have maps, okay? We have list, we have iterators, and many other classes are there. Trees class. So collection is a utility class. Utility, it means it provides some help. It provides some help, okay, to the collection classes. That is to the array list class and to other classes. So collection class methods can be used for the array list object. You need to import these collections, and then you can use these methods like reversing. If you want to reverse the list, if you want to reverse the list, and a list you have how here, for example, here you have Paris, Medina, Ahsan, Dammam. You want to reverse it. So when you print it, you get it like this, right? Paris, Medina, Ahsan, Dammam. You want to reverse it. Dammam, Ahsan, Medina, Paris. Okay? You can use this collection class. This collection class. You need to import java.util.collections, and then you use this collection class here, collections.reverse of city list. This list will be reversed. If you want to sort, you can use this sort method from the collection class. Sort, it means arranged in alphabetical order. Okay. If you want to find the minimum and maximum values, we can use this collection.max, collection.minimum. Fine. For example, collection.max of 1, collection of minimum of L1. What is the maximum element in the collection? What is the minimum element in the collection? So what is the output of this code? Initial output? 10 and 3. 10 and 3 are the outputs of this. Shuffling the array. If you want to reshuffle the array, shuffle the values. Okay. You can use it by this shuffle. Collection.shuffle of list. Shuffle mana? Left but.
I'm something what up.
So here is an exercise to test all these. Create an array of integer values. Create an integer list from this array. Okay, print the list, reverse the list, find the minimum and maximum, sum of the list, and rearrange list in random order, shuffle. Okay, so here is the code. First we create an integer array, then array list from this array A1 by using as list, arrays.as list of array. Then print the list, reverse the list, corrections.reverse of list 1. Print the list again after reverse. Maximum, collection.max of list 1. Minimum, take S, add S, all the elements to the S, that is the sum of the list. Shuffle the list and print the list, that is in random order, this one. Okay, these are simple codes, to be used. Take this as important class, array list, because you will be tested in this in your midterm exam, MTA. يكون برنامج واحد باستخدام الاري ليست. يعني create an array list. ممكن create an array بعدين نحول إلى array list and then بعدين reverse sort maximum minimum find max average. Okay. Okay, the next thing we have the stack data structure and the queue data structure. I think, shall we stop here? Okay, shall we stop here? خلص اليوم ولا نستمر؟ عندنا two topics, stack و queue.
هذا topic جديد.
topics جديدة هذه باستخدام أيوة بس الكونسبت تبع الستاك والكيو بعدين we implement باستخدام الاري ليست. نخليها الأسبوع الجاي.
كم سلايد؟
كم سلايد؟
حسب السلايدات ممكن 10 باقي. باقي 13 14 فين الشيء؟ كم كله؟ كله 50 يا بني.
54
باقي 14. طيب خلاص no problem إن شاء الله we'll stop here for today. Okay. We'll take a stack and queue from the next class. We'll continue. Next class is stack and queue and then meeting 5. Then meeting 6. We'll see the calendar inshallah. Okay. Fine. Do you have any questions? Anyone has any question?
The stack and the queue is the same using servers, right?
Yeah, stacks and queues are used in the printer and servers. Yes. Okay, I didn't have the attendance.